The sale of Westfield to the French property firm Wibel Rodamco draws to a close, with a $32 billion reward, one of Australia's greatest business success stories. But it also shows where Australian retail could be headed next. Westfield has been at the heart of Australian retail innovation and development since Frank Lowy and Gino Schwartz, later John Saunders, formed a partnership in the mid-1950s. Both Holocaust survivors, they arrived in Australia with next to nothing and built an empire. Read more, The Economics of the Money-Back Guarantee. The early history of the firm is covered in Jill Margot's biography of Lowy and Westfield's own company history. After operating a delicatessen in Blacktown in Sydney's western suburbs, the pair moved into residential and then retail property development, opening a small American-style shopping centre in Blacktown, on July 2, 1959. Westfield Place was one of the first shopping centres to open in Australia and was reflective of transformative changes occurring in retail at the time. Rapid growth in car ownership, and support for home ownership by both sides of politics brought a massive demographic shift as Australians flocked to the suburbs. This upended established retail geographies. City department stores had to open suburban branches to survive. At the same time, Coles and Woolworths, which began as variety store chains, were moving into food retailing by buying up traditional grocery chains. These retail firms required sites in the suburbs big enough to house modern stores. They also needed space for parking. In America, similar trends had seen the emergence of a new retail form, the shopping center. The rise of the shopping center. Shopping centers solved the problem of traffic congestion that was beginning to plague suburban high streets and offered a social space for people to congregate. These centers also provided a curated mix of shops that could be shaped to meet market needs, and facilitated the expansion of retail chains. Air conditioning added to their appeal. Westfield was but one of numerous small developers seizing opportunities in a rapidly changing market. But from very early on the firm had higher ambitions. By retaining the centers it built in an investment portfolio, Westfield obtained cash flow, security for finance, and assets that could be upgraded through expansion and redevelopment. The other major early developers were retailers themselves. Department store firms like Myer, Grace Bros, Bones and David Jones played an important role in establishing large-scale shopping centers in Australia, and the supermarkets were also heavily involved in development. Over time, though, specialist developers, managers and landlords like Westfield and Lendlease became the dominant players. These firms proved highly adept at incorporating new retail models and entertainment formats into shopping centers, discount department stores in the 1970s, food courts and cinemas in the late 1980s, category killers in the 1990s, the recent shift to include more services and restaurants. Retail, though, is about access to goods.